Welcome everyone. Today we're gonna be talking about the most aggressive opening in all of chess. You see, in chess there are really two ways in which you can play chess. You can play in a slow, maneuvering way where you put pieces on active squares, but you can also play in an aggressive way where you throw all your pieces out of the window for a devastating attack. And today we're gonna be talking about just that. You see, during the Romantic era of chess, this opening was probably the most played, and the opening starts after white plays e4, black responds with e5, and now you're gonna play f4. This is called the King's Gambit. And the idea here is really simple. White wants to gain control over the center and open lines of attack for him. Like the f7 square is really weak, so you can play knight f3, bishop c4, castle, and attack. The one drawback of playing f4 on the second move is that the e1 h4 diagonal is open and your king is quite weak. So black can exploit that playing queen h4 check in the future. So you always need to be aware of that. Now, there are two ways in which black can respond. There is the King's Gambit accepted with e takes f4, and there is the Falkbeer counter gambit with d5. The other moves are really just bad. Like if you encounter any of these, like d6, knight c6, queen e7, bishop e7, you just need to play knight f3. This is a really important move because it stops queen h4, and then normal development, bishop g4, bishop c4, and short castle, and then knight c3, d3, etc. So you need to study these two moves, e takes f4 and d5. The most played is probably e takes f4, so I'm gonna be talking about d5 first. So after d5, white really has one move, and it is e takes d5. You can play other moves such as knight f3, which attacks the pawn on e5, but the best move is for sure this. You can play knight f3, you can play d3, they're all good moves. What you cannot do is take the pawn on e5. This is a massive blunder because then there is queen h5 check and it's just game over after you play g3. And yeah, so the move I recommend is e takes d5. Here, black has two moves. He can either push or take. I'm gonna look at e takes f4 first. You see, after e takes f4, you need to play this. This is the forced move because otherwise queen h4 check is just devastating because there is the pawn on e4. And now the idea is simple. You wanna play d4 and gain this back. Here, black can take this back right away with queen takes d5, but it's not really good because you play knight c3, it goes back, you can play d4, you can play this, and this is good for white. So this is really not a great move. The move here for black is knight f6. Knight f6, trying to gain back this with the knight. And here, I recommend playing c4. You can play d4, but this is really dangerous playing d4, so because you want to gain back this, but I recommend playing c4. Now, the move here for black is either c6 or bishop d6. These are the moves. Bishop d6 is always a good move for black because it guards the f4 pawn. But the most challenging way for black to play is to play c6. After black plays c6, you don't do anything about this because if you take, like black takes this and it's really good for him, so you need to play d4. You need to gain space to attack this. Now, black can play c takes d5, at which point you're gonna take on f4. And if black takes this, it's really good for you because you can take back and you can castle. So black is not gonna take. And then after that, you're gonna play bishop e2, short castle. And if black wants to trade this bishop, you take it. You play bishop e2 and castle. You can play c5 here as a bonus. You can play knight c3. Natural development moves here. Now, I wanna show you why c4 is basically the only move. There are other moves which you can consider, like bishop c4, bishop b5 check, and d4, but I don't like this. For example, let's say white here plays d4. Now black takes this and guards this, and you say, let's kick the knight out. But this is a massive blunder because there is bishop b4 check. And here, you cannot go here. Let's say you go here with the knight, and then this is just game over for white. Now, there is bishop c4, but I don't like this because it doesn't actually guard the pawn. You can just take. And here, if you say, well, I kick the queen and gain time, you don't have a light square bishop anymore. So that's not good for you. And bishop b5 check can be dealt with c6, just c6. And you had black develop, so it's not good. And yeah, these are the moves. Now, let's see if black, instead of taking, pushes the pawn. If black pushes the pawn, you need to play this move d3. It's a really important move. And here, the move for black is knight f6. If you encounter something else, you just take this, develop, and castle. Now, you need to take this, and after black takes this, you play knight f3. Knight f3 always the move you have to play because queen h4 is a big threat. Now, black is gonna threaten you with this, right? But you can actually pin the knight to the king playing queen e2. And after queen e2, black can either defend the knight with f5 or bishop f5 or queen e7. Let's say black plays queen f5, you play this, you put pressure on the knight. Let's say black breaks the pin, and now it's really difficult for black to move. Actually, this position is really good for white, so this is what you need to do if black pushes the pawn. You need to play d3. And now we come to the juicy stuff. If black takes, well, if black takes, your move is forced. You gotta play knight f3. Prevent queen h4 check. And now there are really two moves for black. There is the Fischer defense with d6, or there is g5 defending the pawn. So, if black plays the Fischer defense d6, you play d4 and targeting this. At which point black is gonna defend the pawn. This is the whole point of the Fischer defense. But now you play h4, targeting the pawn structure. The move here for black is forced, and it's g4. And if g4, you have to go for a knight sacrifice. You see, the move knight g1 is fine, but you are passive, and if you want to be passive, you just play another, you play the London, I don't know. And you're playing the King's Gambit, so you gotta sacrifice the knight, right? You play knight g5, which is a knight sacrifice, because white can play either h6 or f6, and the knight has nowhere to go. Like, if black plays f6, you're gonna play bishop takes f4, f takes g5, bishop takes g5. And yeah, these kings feel a bit weak. Whether if they're gonna play h6, you're gonna play knight takes f7 and bishop takes f4. And then these moves are gonna come, and you're gonna attack this black king. So from an objective point of view, this position is better for black, but you have such a powerful attack. Like, I mean, below the level of, like, I think 2200, this position is a nightmare for black. So you're gonna play bishop c4, knight c3, castle, and attack this king. So if black, instead of playing d6, the Fischer defense, plays g5, you're gonna target this pawn with h4. Now, black could take, but this is just bad, you see? These pawns are split, you play d4, you take the whole center, and you target the pawn on f4. So, black will most likely push. Now, there is this move and after d6 there is just a transposition to the continuation we seen earlier. So I recommend playing the Izeritsky Gambit, which is 95, and so you're targeting the pawn on g4, and black will probably respond with knight f6, at which point you're gonna play d4 or knight takes g4. I recommend playing knight takes g4. You just win a pawn. These pawns are stupid, and this position is actually, I believe, good for white because these pawns are terrible. You can play a combination of bishop b5 or c4 and short castle, and yeah, you're just gonna chill, you know. But if black doesn't play knight f6 and instead plays d6, you're gonna take anyway, and then black can play bishop e7. But again, this is kind of the same position, like bishop e7. You're gonna take the whole center, target this, and then you're gonna be fine. If you're worried about this, right, you don't need to be worried because there is knight f2. And yeah, you can be in a little bit of trouble here, but you don't need to worry. You can defend everything, and I believe this position is better for white. So a little recap of what I just shown you. So e4, e5, f4 here is the king's gambit. Black here can respond with either d5 or e takes f4. E5, d5 enters the pike bear counter gambit, and f5, e takes f4 enters the king's gambit accepted. Here you gotta play this, and black has two options: d6, the fish defense, and g5. And you're gonna play a combination of h4, d4, bishop takes f4, bishop c4, and castle. These are the moves you're gonna play, and you're gonna attack the king. Just focus on attacking the king. This opening is really fun, and I hope you win a lot of games with it. Now I'm gonna play a game in Blitz, and yeah, I'm gonna try to win playing the king's gambit. So let's see. All right, we play e4, and we play the king's gambit. Let's see. They play like this is total garbage because we can just take. We're not afraid of this. We're not afraid of this, right? Because there is just this. Now, um, I believe knight c3. Knight c3 is a good move because if here I can go g3 and I cannot take. Now they pin the pawn, right? Uh, I guess we can just go here. We can go knight f3. If they take, we're gonna take with the pin pawn, I guess. Here we go g3. They cannot take this. All right, they're trying to exchange queens, which is I don't want to. I can slide my queen over. This and short castle can do this. Or I should say rook f1, because now the queen is here. I believe I'm gonna play rook f1. Alright, they really wanna trade queens. I don't want to. What about this? What about this? We're failing this. We hung a bishop, which is cool. But then, don't they have this? We discovered the tuck. Right, they just hang their queen. Really cool. You see, you play the king's gambit, they hang their queen. Like, there's nothing we can do. Like, they're gonna take stuff. And now g4, g5, I believe. I could have played c4. Maybe I should have played c4. I definitely should have played c4. Isn't their knight like trapped? Let's go c4. Right, they're trying to break through this, but not sure about that. Right, if I take, I'm gonna take this as well. This, then I have this. All right. I can do something like this, right? Can give it a check. Because if I take, there is just this, check, and wait, what? No, I can't take. Because if this, there is rook here. Yeah, there is rook check. And yeah, you see, the king's gambit is just crashing. It's just crashing, you know? Like here we play rook, I believe. They go there. Let's go here. I couldn't go here because of the bishop. Alright, they hang their rook with check. Alright. And there is on, yeah, you see. Now, I wanna go back because I believe I blundered in the open. Yes, I just forgot. Yeah, this is a terrible move. I'm really sorry. Yeah, yeah. Here you're supposed to go knight f3. Yeah, I'm really sorry. I just blundered. But then I won, yeah. Then I won. You see, it's just the power of the King's Gambit. Yeah. I'm really sorry that I blundered that. I'm really tired. But the rest of the game, I think, just showed how really powerful the King's Gambit can be. So, thank you very much for watching. I remind you that I stream on Twitch, so follow me there. Yeah, that's it. Bye bye.